So ENHYPEN is releasing a repackaged album, which is actually a sequel to their previous album, Dimension Dilemma, and it is called Dimension Answer. If you don't know, a repackage is basically literally repackaging the same album with the same songs, but with like a different theme and stuff like that, and there's usually bonus songs. In this case, we do get 3 new songs. And of course, a new music video, which is always exciting for us sunflowers here on our channel to discuss. So there's 2 versions of the Dimension Answer album. One is No and the other is Yet. And as people have pointed out, if you put all of this together with the name of the album, you get No Answer Yet. I guess they don't have an answer yet to their dilemma, which is possibly one understanding, but as we'll see today, there might be an answer that they have. By the way, I forgot to say their dilemma is between tamed and dashed. Like, they're either accepting their situation, tamed, or dashing. They're running away from it. Forgot to say that. Sorry. There's also been a couple teasers dropped. I'm actually filming this when there's only 1 teaser dropped, but I don't know, I'll probably add in stuff about the second one if it's substantial. Anyways, let's get into breaking down the 2 different versions and the photos that they've given us, the track list, and of course the teaser. Let's go! Knowing that their title track is called Blessed Cursed, the No version kind of makes me think that if I had to choose either Blessed or Cursed, it falls under the whole cursed category. The entire thing kind of features like many small toys, representing that they're both being toyed with and also playing with others as toys. Or even maybe that their situation is fake, or it was forced upon them, something that we've actually kind of seen in the past. For example, Give and Taken, it kind of felt like they were trapped in this facility against their will, and they were being told to do these things and they were being checked upon. And then there's hints that like they were turned into vampires without them actually understanding what that entails and like what the consequences of that would be. And then the whole part where they literally ran away. So at least that's how I'm seeing it in terms of their story. However, ENHYPEN tends to purposefully parallel the idol industry in a critiquing fashion, usually. So it could also represent that idols are just playthings for, you know, companies to control or, you know, use, or that maybe they're collectibles for consumers to enjoy. Again, kind of dark. Goes in line with the whole cursed thing. And I mean, a lot of the shots are actually quite dark with like shadows being in the focus. So I mean, actually in several photos they almost seem monstrous in size, which is kind of ironic considering a lot of people consider vampires to be a type of monster. Maybe ENHYPEN aren't quite Godzilla, but with the powers that they have in the story, maybe they can control people just as easily as they can control the toys. Definitely speaks to like a level of power that they have. This version of the album also features several phrases that are repeated. I'm guessing these are lyrics in Blessed Cursed or another song, because I'm guessing these are lyrics in Blessed Cursed or like another song, but they are also used in the teaser, but we'll get to that. Don't butt in, you fooled me, I don't buy it. That one in particular repeats a lot throughout this version of the album, and again, like I said, in those teasers. The word liar appears as well, quite prominently actually, and that is most likely related to the previous sentence. Like, someone lied to them, they fooled them. So I personally suspect that there is actually a particular member that is lying, or maybe a couple members that are lying to the other members, which I'll talk about in a bit. It might also reference what I mentioned before. They were turned without knowing all the details. Lied to. You fooled me. They don't want their opinion and they don't believe anything that is being said to them. Or, as Instagram points out, our answer is no. The just stop that they hold in their group photo actually also points to this, along with several other things written or adhered to the members in these concept photos. I'm kind of guessing that this is like, these are the words that they want to project and communicate to the people who have hurt them. No. Broken, stop, cursed, and then also my way, because they're sick of having someone else tell them what to do. They want to do it their own way. They don't want the other person's opinions. Almost like they're taking back their power. You'll see, by the way, when we go over the teasers, that this fits in so well with the teasers for Blessed Cursed and like the whole music video aesthetic. One specific thing I want Okay, so apparently my camera stopped recording for like a small bit here, so just ignore this insert. One specific thing that I wanted to highlight was in Heesung's video for this concept. On his mouth, it's written like a lion. Now, Heesung has previously been shown as having like his own thing going on, like in Fever, where he seems to be like shouting at the members who are also running away from this like darkness before he gets pulled in to the darkness as well. He's trying to yell, he's trying to roar like a lion, maybe. Because like, of course, lions roar, they're loud. They want to be fierce, they want to assert, you know, their spot, you know, my way. And the other thing, of course, is that lions are like the kings. They're associated with kings just in their own rights. If you remember the throne imagery back from Border Day 1, the Dusk version, I originally theorized that they were actually vying for the throne, that their end goal was to kind of end up on that throne, either as a king or something godlike, something to be revered, something for mortals to look up to. So that's just something to think about. There's a lot of glitches going on, like especially the group video. There's so many glitches in this, and glitches are not new in ENHYPEN's story. They were there ever since debut in Give and Taken, so it makes me wonder, you know, is this them walking on the line into a digital space somehow, that magic island, magical reality? But I'm interested to see if they're gonna actually address that directly at some point. Oh, also, Nikki is holding dice, which is very like role-play gamey. Makes me think a lot of TXT, who dice are like magical objects for them, so just something to think about. Now let's look at the Yet version. This version actually gives me like Charybdis vibes from their previous album. Like there's even a photo of a boat constructed with like sheets and has like a bed on it, which is just like so reminiscent of the Charybdis version that it's actually funny in a way. And I mean, Charybdis felt like the happy dream of the last album, and that kind of carries over into this, which makes me think that in terms of blessed cursed, this is the blessed side. This is the dream. Maybe it hasn't happened yet, or perhaps even as they suffer, they yet have dreams for the future. Okay, maybe I'm just focusing like a little too much on the wordplay there. No one can do it for me. Can I be better now? This is on one of the images, like this is like what they're hoping for. That despite their pains, they can bloom beautifully. And this is shown with the flowers under the band-aids blooming, like it's sewing up their past hurts, healing, positivity. And I mean, if you want to be a bit negative about how the flowers are under the band-aids, it could mean that you're like covering something up with flowery, beautiful language and ignoring the bad. Kind of like toxic positivity. Just convince yourself it's fine and you're not actually seeing the bad stuff. You're just covering it up with flowers, putting a band-aid over it. I don't know. I could see there being darker undertones here. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, because I do think they're kind of leaning more on the idyllic, dreamy reality kind of side. Like I said, blessed. Blessed with the power to change their fate. Only I can change my life. For some reason, the C in change is capitalized here. I don't know why. Maybe it's just an interesting design choice. I don't know. Live today is also another phrase highlighted on their Instagram, kind of like a live in the moment thing. It also might, like the previous version of this album on Instagram, might be part of a phrase. So the previous one was no answer yet. This one could be, I don't know, yet live today. Like, despite your struggles, live in the moment. I don't know, it's kind of not working for me, but like, let me know what you think about that one. By the way, the clothes they wear here are kind of like that fancier old style. Like when they're wearing like their uniforms, it kind of feels more like the stuff they wore in the Give and Taken era. So I'm inclined to say that this is the like Give and Taken timeline. Just in case you're unaware, there's definitely two timelines going on that are being shown to us. I don't know if they're separate dimensions, or if they are like one timeline and this is just far in the past and then this one's like our present modern day. So the Give and Taken era, they have like the more old-fashioned clothes like we see here, and of course then we have like the more modern era. I am inclined to say that this version of the album is probably the like Give and Taken side of things, and then the No version of the album is probably the modern day equivalent. And just to like add to that, some of the group photos have them holding umbrellas, which we've only ever seen them do in the past. Back in like the Tamed Dashed video, it was very prominently featured them holding umbrellas because it was the moment when they suddenly realized that the sun no longer burned them. And we also see like airplanes, which again were a thing in Give and Taken. Just lots of things that tie in particularly with that album beyond just the clothing style. And that's just really interesting because previously I would have said that the older timeline was actually the cursed timeline. Like, they had a rough time of it in the Give and Taken music video, but perhaps now that they've escaped, it's more idyllic and lovely, and the modern day kind of feels like it's become cursed. Again, though, don't know if it's alternate dimensions just mirroring each other, or if it's, like, just the same timeline. If it's alternate dimensions, then I guess it could swap at any moment. But watch my Tamed Dashed video if you're really confused right now, because I feel like I'm not explaining it well. For context, it's like 11 p.m., so I'm so sorry. Anyways, my point is, I didn't expect this to be a blessed timeline, but maybe now that they've escaped, it's, you know, feeling very blessed. Like, this is the serenity of what them escaping that place was all for. They wanted to be at peace, relive their childhood. You know, that's why you see, like, the bubbles and the kites. And I think that's really lovely. Also, fun fact, you can see, like, a forest in the background in some of the videos, and I kind of feel like that's the forest that they were hiding out in Tamed Dashed. I don't know. I feel like that would be fun if that's the case. Anyways, in addition to their individual photos, there's also a quote associated with each member. Let's go over them really quickly now. Jungwon's is, "Thank God today is the best day in my life," which really makes me question things. Because of the quotations, it feels very sarcastic. Like, life is clearly in quotations because they're vampires, and I mean, vampires are kind of like the undead, right? Like, if you're a vampire, is it really like your life? Are you really alive? Debatable, right? Like, life. And then, like, the God part is also interesting. Because, like what I mentioned before, they might be striving for godhood. Also because they might have originally been turned by some kind of god-like figure. I mean, just look at the way this girl is depicted in this picture. It looks like she's got a lot of power. That could be a god. I don't know, there's just a lot of sarcasm in this particular quote. I'm interested to see how that's gonna play out in this comeback. Sunghoon's says, "Make up my mind," which kind of just sounds like he's wondering about the dilemma. It does make me think of how in the Fever music videos, Sunghoon was being hypnotized by Nicki. Make up my mind makes it sound like you're gonna do it for me. Is it like Nicki's literally making up his mind for him? I don't know, just something to think about. There's something going on there. Sunwoo has, "Only I can change my life." Change is not capitalized here, but I do think it's interesting that his saying matches one of the ones that they chose to highlight. I mean, Sunwoo does seem to be one of the main players right now. They are really highlighting his particular story at this time. I wonder if maybe that's why, because he's like a major part. But also, if you consider it that, like, only I can change my life, like, it makes you think, like, oh, you can't lean on other people. Only me, I can do it. No one else. I want to say this is a positive quote, but my brain, of course, goes, ah yes, let's add a little bit of darkness in today. I'm just worried about a control aspect coming into play here, because, like, you know, he's done some suspicious things in terms of his character. I mean, I have wondered about his intentions in the past. Sunwoo is suspicious. I need that on a t-shirt. Like, I'm not making a t-shirt of that, just so you're aware. Jake's is, "Can I always be better? Don't doubt yourself, Jake. Of course you can. Live the idyllic life of your dreams." I'm not with this whole doubting thing. What the heck? Live the life of your dreams, Jake. Don't succumb to the darkness. Jay's is, "Better late than never." Again, this makes me kind of think like how they suffered before, like they were suffering before. They didn't get to live through their childhood and do all these things. But it's better late than never, right? This is just me reading too much into quotes though, so, you know, take what I say with a grain of salt. Nicki's is, "Never give up." See, this is a really positive quote, but also, I'm concerned a little bit. I'm concerned, because Nicki, like, he has his sights set high, you know? Never give up. I'm slightly concerned. Just a little. Finally, Heesung's is, "No one can do it for me, you must do it yourself." This kind of feels like a you have to choose your own happiness thing, you know? Although it also kind of gives the vibe of like, if you want it done right, you gotta do it yourself. Like, no one can do it for you kind of thing. I just realized that it kind of sounds like a response to earlier, where it's like, someone was like, "Make up my mind." Well, no one can do it for you, you know? interesting that it feels like a response to that. It's really hard to figure out the exact context of these quotes. By the way, like, what do you think, knowing what you know about Heesung? I am kind of feeling like he's gonna try and fix things on his own, kind of like we see, like, how he's alone yelling at them in Fever, like, yelling after them. I don't know. I just hope that whatever he does, that it works out. Now let's talk about the track list. So seeing as this is a repackaged album, a lot of the songs are the same as on the previous album, but we do have some new songs there. And of course the teaser, which we're gonna go over now. Obviously, there's the title track, Blessed Cursed, it's track number 9, and from the previews it sounds so cool, very rock-based, kind of rebellious in that sense, but I also really like songs with guitar. Like, guitar is such a good instrument. So I already know I'm gonna love this song. The poster for Blessed Cursed has some of the members in gray, black, and white, and then some of them in red. The ones in red are Jungwon, Heesung, and Sunwoo. I'm not sure if there's a correlation between these yet. We might have to just wait and see. Like, I want to say, like, oh, like, Jungwon is, like, the leader. He's got something going on. Heesung's the one trying to save them. Sunwoo's the one who's, like, suspicious. But also, like, Nikki is suspicious, and he's not red, so I don't know, maybe the color red means these are the people who view it as a curse, and the other ones are blessed? Maybe it was just a design thing. Maybe they're just like, well, this looks cool, because it does look cool. Anyways, in terms of the teasers for this song, each of the boys had an individual teaser. In it, they were featured in a bunch of different scenarios. And all of these happened in a closed room or, like, very small space. Like, they're a little bit trapped feeling. It's just such an interesting choice to feature them all in, like, completely separate different rooms that are, like, they're not together at all. I'm kind of wondering if maybe this is supposed to represent, like, how they're feeling in the story. Like, it's an internal thing. Like, these rooms represent their mind, like their inner, does that make sense? Like, they're trapped and they're about to rebel. Or maybe that's the guitar talking, I don't know. Anyways, Jungwon is, like, in a padded room that's bright red. It makes me think of, like, an isolation room, you know, where they don't want you to hurt yourself or anyone else, so they put you in a padded room. It makes me feel like he's being kept there for his own safety, but I don't necessarily think he needs to be, and clearly he's gonna break out, because also the red makes me think of vampirism again. Taking that into account, if red is vampirism, him being trapped within the idea of vampirism. Remember, he was one of the red ones on the poster, so. Nikki, interestingly, is also in a red-lined room, again, like that poster, but it's kind of like as if they've removed the padding and it's just like a layer of red plastic covering on top. Liar, repeated several times, is projected onto the wall of his room. Now, considering we've seen the word liar before, and this is literally being projected onto him, either we're assuming he's the liar and he's being framed for it, or he's the liar. I mean, if this is your internal thinking, like, it being projected into your internal mind means that he's being implicated. Like, he's implicating himself. This is, like, he knows. And, like, he was, you know, hypnotizing Sunghoon, so I don't know. He uses underhanded tactics a little bit. I mean, he opens up a wormhole without telling anyone. I don't know, man. I think that he is the liar, but let me know what you think. I know some people were saying that, Sunwoo was the liar, and then I saw another theory with Jungwon, but I do think that Nikki seems to have the most proof at this point in time related to this album. But let me know if you agree with that or not. Then there's Jake's room, which is actually mostly white, and it kind of looks like the inside padding of, like, you know, a padded jacket or something like that. And of course, the most interesting part of this, as he's sitting on his red chair, is the red outline behind him of the wings, or at least it looks like wings. It could be like bat wings because it's like vampire related, you know, or just like wings in general. Of course, the unsettling part is that it's staining an otherwise beautiful white wall with red. Like, kind of looks like blood. It's very sinister. So is this vampirism staining his otherwise pristine view on things? Is it giving him wings? I'm not sure, but I feel like it's like a sense of corruption. I absolutely love Sunghoon's teaser because it kind of just looks like he's like, hey, eyes up here, as if he knows that, yes, I was definitely examining that number on your shirt. How did you know? I can't figure out what the number means. I didn't mention it, but in the No version, he did actually have, like, numbers sort of tattooed on his knuckles. specifically the number 2, and then an X for 10, like a Roman numeral, and a VII for 7, as well as a flower and like a cross and some magical sparkly thingies. So numbers seem related to him for some reason.
Also, he's got a like lock on his neck as a necklace, which again kind of features into that trapped thing. I don't know what's going on with the background. It looks like it's like a silver, like, I don't even know, but like definitely still the whole trapped feeling. I wonder how the metal plays into this. Like,
Sunwoo's is interesting to me because he is stood in front of like many lights that look like little spotlights. As I mentioned earlier, ENHYPEN has a lot of focus and like criticism towards the idol industry, and this definitely feels like it's a direct call to that. But also, in terms of character, I wonder if it's because he sees himself as the one in the spotlight, especially if they're technically going for the throne. After all, he was the one who took the initiative in Drunk Dazed to do the ritual thing. We don't know if it was good or bad technically, but he also didn't really participate in the party, so I'm not sure on that. At the very least, he feels like there's a lot of eyes on him, like he's the one in the spotlight. Also, I kind of really like this outfit. Anyways, finally, Jay's. And there's so much here. He's the only one in a hallway and not a room, although I guess Sunwoo is arguably on a stage. We only see the lights, so there's no like borders on his. But ignoring Sunwoo, he's the only one in a hallway, or anywhere that's not like just a square or like the abyss. As in, there's actually somewhere for him to go. Like, he's left his room, but now he's in like the maze of how to get out. Which again makes me think, oh, this definitely reflects the mind somehow. Because like, the mind is a labyrinth, you know? I've talked about this so many times. And it sounds pretentious every time. Anyways, obviously the word cynical is written on his face, and as hyphenating, my friend and patron of the channel pointed out on their Twitter, where they do theories and stuff, it's also on the wall, along with numerous other things. The other things on the wall are these outlines of bats, which kind of feel very like bat signal from Batman to me, and the word liar, as well as I don't buy it. It is actually not visible there, but we can assume based on the sentence that that's probably what they would have written next, because that sentence has appeared several times, as I mentioned, in the no version of the album, which is why, of course, I assume that this has to do with the no version of the album, the cursed thing. I think this music video will probably show them more on the cursed side, but we'll see. It is called Blessed Cursed, so maybe there's like going to be a juxtaposition between two different universes again. By the way, the fact that the word liar is on the wall here is really interesting to me, because obviously it's not projected several times over onto the wall like it is with Nicki's. It's not nearly so obvious. I think it would actually be easy to miss altogether, especially if you're not paying attention to it. Like, these ideas are in the periphery of his mind. It's things that he's starting to notice. It's like the edge of consciousness, you know? Either he's aware that he's a liar, maybe. Like, maybe he's lying in a subtle way or something, which could be the case. Or he's starting to notice that someone is the liar to him, which fits in really well with the album, like the I don't buy it, like, you tricked me kind of feeling. And like I said, the vibe of the song fits No really well. The rebellious, like, gonna fight my way out, I'm gonna take control, it's my way or the highway. Anyways, to go back to the track list, there are 2 more songs on this list that are new. We have Polaroid Love, which they've actually performed at ENConnect, so you might have seen that performance and have heard how lovely and awesome the song is. But this will be the official release, of course. The song didn't have choreography. I kind of assume that if they're going to be promoting this song along with Blessed Cursed on like music shows and stuff like that, I'm guessing it'll just be like one of those songs that they sit or stand around on a pretty set and sing. I mean, I'm just guessing they're not gonna like bust out new choreography when they've already performed the song before without choreography. And of course, the other new song on this track list is Outro, Day 2. I actually cannot wait for like whatever bombshell they're about to drop us in the lyrics of this outro. In the preview, I hear words like, I wonder what my day 2 will be. My second day that I must live on my own. And I'm kind of like very excited about that. Of course, since there is an outro here, we can assume that this album will not get another repackage. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope that you had a good time and that you maybe learned something, or at least you're more excited for the inevitable drop of this album and the music video. If you did like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you are subscribed with notifications turned on so that YouTube tells you every single time I post a video. All of my social media, including my Discord server, are linked in the description below, so make sure you check those out. And of course, I want to give a shout out to my patrons over on Patreon. Thank you guys so much for your support. As it is, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay sunny, everyone. Bye! Okay, I'm gonna sleep now. Bye!